sent in officers in full gear and full paintball guns to just shoot up the school and just have live action drills to acclimate kids to live school shootings. And Jones has been pretty adamant that he felt like, maybe another one of those was coming as well. I mean, this thing digs so deep, it's unbelievable. And there is no reason to have the real thing is you should be afraid that more people aren't woken up and aren't taking action. What really scared me to death after 9/11, after finding out what really went down with 9/11, was that more people weren't stepping up to the plate, that somehow, I became part of a voice of a movement that should be huge. I'm just a little guy. I never thought I would be doing this. I thought, I was going to work in the graphics industry and make business cards and posters and flyers, and if I was lucky, I was going to start, editing and doing like cartoons and special effects and things like that. I never thought I'd be, at the helm of a radio/prisonplanet.tv show talking about, the impending police state and the fact that we just lost our Miranda rights. That just was not in the cards for me. But I looked at it and I said, you know what? Who is the voice of this generation? I mean, who is? Who's the voice of this generation? Who's the person stepping up and opposing the establishment? And the only person that I could find that was even coming close, after you get past all the false left-right characters, people like Michael Moore, who for a long time I really admired. And I still do like some of his work, not all of it, but some of it. It's still pretty relevant. But I'm like, is he the voice of my generation? He's a little old and he's a little party line. And then I saw Alex Jones, and God bless Alex. But, for my taste in the very beginning, he was a little too religious, I'm not, a hardcore Christian. So that was, to me, it was like, well, there's got to be something else. There's got to be somebody else. And other than Alex, there is nobody else. And now I'm trying to fill that void and bring more people into it. People like Luke Radowski, are filling that void. And, if you watch that New World Order documentary, I watched it. I actually met a couple people before that came out over at the 6th anniversary of 9/11, including the cat that's, burning, hundreds of loose change Final Cut and handing them out on the street. And the blonde he's great. No, not the blonde kid, the other guy. Although the blonde kid at the end that, cries and, says, you don't know how real we are.
The one that talks about getting targeted and he's like, I don't care. And he goes on and hands out all those DVDs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's actually Luke Radowski. He's actually a good friend of mine. But there's somebody else out there that does the little loose change part where they play the beginning of the Final Cut on the TV, and he's wearing the Investigate 9/11 shirt that I designed. And these are the voices of our generation. If we can win, if we can build up and really challenge the establishment. And what's scary is there's not enough of us yet. There needs to be. Keep fighting, brother. Doesn't matter that you're in high school. You can make a huge difference. People like Robert Wanick, who's a high school student, has done so. He's made, big headlines and waves in his community, in his school, and we can have an effect. It's believing that we can't have an effect and that we're helpless and that we're just going to have to cow down to this government that's really negative. I thank you for the call. Let's go to Steve in Illinois. Steve, you're on the line.
Jason.
Yes, sir.
Jason, hello?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Jason. Steve here. Hey, I actually spoke with you on Friday as well. And
okay.
I've got something that you as a New Yorker, a former New Yorker, would appreciate. I'm actually looking here at msnbc.com. You might want to have your producers bring up msnbc.com. The top banner line on it. You know how we have Sonia Sotomayor being now nominated for the Supreme Court, right?
That's correct.
Okay, you'll appreciate this. The cover line, and there's a video story with it too. The cover line for the Sotomayor nomination is Bronx cheers Sotomayor justice nomination. Now, you as a New Yorker knows what a Bronx cheer is.
Yeah, it's basically, they're saying people that back the Yankees. It's nonsense. She was somebody who was appointed by George H.W. Bush to a high-level position in New York. I forget what she was, maybe a district attorney or something like that. I remember reading the bio. But this woman is La Raza. She's total establishment. She's going to be brought in to, be the voice of, why isn't Canada, Mexico, and the United States one, big super unit? We can make it work. And she is here to usurp more of the Constitution and Bill of Rights. I mean, like I said, how many of these Supreme Court decisions, especially one today, how many have you seen that are, 7-2 or 8-1 or 9-0? No, it's always 5-4. They always give you the illusion it was so close when they take away your rights. Like we were this close to hanging on to the right to have a lawyer before we got beaten up by cops. But that's not there. Yeah, she doesn't look like a good choice. I'm not very happy about it, and I'm sure she's going to get confirmed.
Well, I mean, I remember when I would buy whoopee cushions for fun, and the whoopee cushion would say, when you have somebody sit on this, it's going to emit a Bronx cheer.
Oh, it's I was unaware, you know so it's a fart joke is what you're telling me.
Yeah, a Bronx cheer is technically when you do a raspberry. When you do a when you do a raspberry, and if you you could have your producers obviously look at msnbc.com and then also look up Bronx cheer in Wikipedia, and it's basically a raspberry or the sound a whoopee cushion makes. But my observation here is the mainstream news is so cocky towards us. The mainstream news has such disrespect for the regular viewer that they're going to put little winks in there, little jokes, like that. Even on the most trivial story, you know what I mean? I
didn't pick up on it.
Weave
You're
in
right.
all this baloney. Yeah, they weave in all this baloney. You know what I mean? In other words, we already know that we're not getting straight news anymore from the mainstream establishment. So now they'll just throw little jokes, little Easter eggs in there like that.
Well, they've been doing it with
my point too. Go ahead.
Yeah, but they've been doing it with the Bilderberg Group in the past few years. They've kind of been doing it with this New World Order film where they're attacking Alex. I mean, they do it all the time. They do it with 9/11 too. I mean, even when you got somebody who's sympathetic, they're not allowed to go all the way, and they have to make little snips like, oh, he believes this, or even in the New World Order film, they have this like B movie guy that's not doing documentary films. He's doing like craptacular films in another country, and he throws in, I may have a chip in my head, rightio, and that's the guy that they want in the film. They don't want Daniel Estalon that's tracked down the Bilderberg Group for the last few years, wrote an amazing book, and I understand his frustration with that. I thank you for the call. We're going to be going to John, Stephen, and possibly Charles on the other side in the last segment. This is the Info Warrior. If you miss any of the program, folks, the podcast is over on the left-hand side of the Infowarrior.com. We got a new YouTube channel out there, Jason Justice 911. That's YouTube/Jason Justice 911. We're going to be doing all sorts of updates, things that you won't get over here at PrisonPlanet.tv and Infowars.com. Back after this.